Vishnupara Shatarashatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Srila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Patadasha Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Di Shikor Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Nama Chai Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Bharat Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam pravrajantam anupetam apeta krityam dvaipayano virahakatara ajuhava putreti tanmayataya taravo bhinedu stang sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi Narayanam namaskrityam narang chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayek Shrinvatang Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshvavadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptashtakama Dutarangamadhe Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh my God, that's so weird. Why does it say Nectar of Devotion? I thought I fixed that last night. Anyways, I'll do that right now. That's so bizarre. Okay, let me fix this. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's see if I can change the title while the video is still live. This is an experiment. Thanks for pointing that out, Rup Manjari. Okay, next. Let's see if that worked. Edit. What? Okay, I think it worked. Look, it says Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I want to do a little test though. Let me just check. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just start. Thanks for pointing that out. Dandavat pranams, Raseshwari Mataji, Rup Manjari Didi, Ganga Didi, Shamarani Didi, Madhavi Didi, who else? Prajumna Prabhu and Mantramurti Mataji. Haribol, Dandavat pranams everybody. And also Dandavat pranams to Indira Mataji, who will be watching later. Okay, so let's go over what we read yesterday. So Parikshit Maharaj inquires about the Yamaduta's reaction. What did Yamarāja say after hearing the statements of the Yamadutas who were obstructed by the Vishnudutas? It is unheard of that Yamarāja's punishment can be avoided. People will have doubts about this, that no one but you can eradicate. So now Śukadeva Goswami replies. The Yamadutas, whose efforts have been thwarted by the Vishnudutas, approached Yamarāja, the master of Samyamani Puri, and they spoke as follows. How many controllers of jivas are there in this world, who are the causes of the results of who are the causes of the results of activities performed under the three modes? If there are many controllers who disagree about punishment and reward, then no one would get punishment or reward, or everyone might get both. Note, the Yamadutas were defeated in carrying out Yamarāja's orders, and their master could not protect them. So they were inclined to say that there is no need to serve such a master, and doubted whether Yamarāja actually had the power to punish the sinful and if there are higher authorities. There can be only one supreme controller, even if multiple judges exist to give justice to different karmis. He guides the multiple departmental heads. We thought you are the supreme controller and punisher of all jivas, including the demigods. The demigods who decide the happiness and distress of all humans. We thought that you were the supreme controller. But your order has been transgressed by 4 wonderful and perfect persons who cut our ropes when we were bringing the sinful Ajamil towards the hellish planets under your order. When Ajamil chanted Narayana, these four men quickly came and said, "Do not fear. Kindly tell us who they are, if you think it is beneficial for us." So then Yamarāja explains the position of the Supreme Controller, the devotees, and Bhagavat Dharma. Yamarāja was pleased to hear the holy name of Narayan from his order carriers. Remembering the Lord's lotus feet, he spoke as follows. There is a Supreme Controller who is superior to me and the demigods, who is the Lord of all moving and non-moving things, who partially manifests as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva for creation, maintenance, and destruction, just like the vertical and horizontal threads of a woven cloth. He controls the entire world just like a rope in the noose of a bowl. He binds all men with names and actions through the ropes of his words in the Vedas, like the bullock cart driver who controls the bulls. He is offered tribute by all classes of society in fear. No one can understand him. Demigods and sages cannot understand the Lord's activities, although free from the lower modes and situated in the mode of goodness. What then to speak of others? Even those in the mode of goodness can't understand him. Living entities cannot ascertain the Lord's real position by their senses, minds, life airs, thoughts, or words, just as bodily limbs cannot see the eyes. The Vishnudutas are very attractive with forms, qualities, and natures, almost like that of the independent Supreme Lord, the master of the illusory energy. They are worshipped by the demigods. Their wonderful forms are very rarely seen. They protect the Lord's devotees from enemies, Yamarāja, and natural disturbances. He talks about himself in the third person here. Note, Yamarāja has specifically described the qualities of the Vishnudutas to convince his own servants not to be envious of them. Link. The Yamadutas might have asked, if they protect the devotees, why are they favoring adharma? Yamarāja answered, how can fools like you understand the truth about dharma, which even great sages cannot understand? Real religious principles are enacted by the Lord, and cannot be ascertained by sages, demigods, and siddhas. What to speak of demons, ordinary humans, vidyadharas, and charanas? Link. If no one ascertains dharma, then what is the proof of its existence? Is there anyone who knows this principle? The 12 Mahajans know the true Bhagavat Dharma. They know true Bhagavat Dharma, which is confidential, transcendental, and not easily understood. If one understands it, he returns back to Godhead. Now Yamarāja glorifies the process of chanting. Pure bhakti is paro dharma. Oh, I know this shloka. Etavan loke. Oh, cool. Okay. Etavan eva lokesmin pungsa dharma parasmrita bhakti yogo bhagavati tam nama grahanadhivi. Actually, I don't remember it so well, but I did learn this at one point. It's an important shloka. Bhakti yogo bhavati. Okay. Devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the previous verse, Dharmam Bhagavatam, real religious principles are Bhagavat Dharma, the principles described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam itself or in the Bhagavad Gita, the preliminary study of the Bhagavatam. What are these principles? The Bhagavatam says, Dharma projita kaitavatra. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there is no cheating religious systems. That's the second verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Everything in the Bhagavatam is directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavatam further says, Savai pungsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhoksaje, 1st Canto, 2nd chapter, 6th verse. The supreme religion is that which teaches its followers how to love the personality of Godhead who is beyond the reach of experimental knowledge. Such a religious system begins with Tannama Grahana, chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam. After chanting the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy, one gradually sees the form of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord, and the transcendental qualities of the Lord. This way, one fully understands the situation of the personality of Godhead. One can come to this understanding of the Lord, how he descends into the material world, how he takes his births, and what activities he performs. But one can know this only by executing devotional service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Simply by devotional service, one can understand everything about the Supreme Lord. If one fortunately understands the Supreme Lord in this way, the result is tyakta deham punarjanma naiti. After giving up his material body, he no longer has to take birth in this material world. Instead, he returns home back to Godhead. That is the ultimate perfection. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 8:15, Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana sangsiddhim paramangata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have ascertained the highest perfection. Namocharana mahatmyam hare pashyata putraka ajamila piye naiva mrityu pashar amuchyata. So let me plug in my computer. My dear servants who are as good as my sons, my dear servants who are just as good, who are as good as my sons. Sorry, guys. Just see how glorious is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The greatly simple Ajamil chanted only to call his son, not knowing that he was chanting the Lord's holy name. Nevertheless, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, he remembered Narayan, and thus he was immediately saved from the ropes of death. Purport: there is no need to conduct research into the significance of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. The history of Ajamil is sufficient proof of the power of the Lord's holy name and the exalted position of a person who chants the holy name incessantly. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. In this age of Kali, no one can perform all the ritualistic ceremonies for becoming liberated. That is extremely difficult. Therefore, all the Shastras and all the Acharyas have recommended that in this age, one chants the holy name. Etavatalam aganir harannaya pungsam sankirtanam bhagavato gunakarmanam nam Vikrusha-putram agavan Vikrusha-putram Narayaneti mriyamana iyaya muktim. Therefore, it should be understood that one is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of the Lord and chanting of his qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for relief from sinful reactions. Even if one chants the holy name of the Lord with improper pronunciation, he will achieve relief from material bondage if he chants without offenses. Ajamil, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying, he merely chanted the holy name, and although calling his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Narayan. So even with incorrect pronunciation, where does it say that? Hey, what does it say in correct pronunciation? Sufficient for taking congregation names according. Crying without offense. His son sinful. Anyhow, maybe that was okay. Purport: in the assembly of Raghunath Das Goswami's father, Haridas Thakur confirms that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is liberated, even if he does not chant completely inoffensively. Smarta Brahmins and Mayavadis do not believe that one can achieve liberation in this way, but the truth of Haridas Thakur's statement is supported by many quotations from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. In his commentary on this verse, for example, Sridhar Swami gives the following quotation: Sayam pratar grunan bhaktya dukkha gramar vimuchyate. If one always chants the holy name of the Lord with great devotion in the evening and in the morning, one can become free from all material miseries. Another quotation confirms that one can achieve liberation if one hears the holy name of the Lord constantly, every day, with great respect. Anudinam idam adarena shunvan. Another quotation says, Shravanam kirtanam dhyanam harer adbhutta karmana janma karma gunanang cha tad arte kila cheshtitam. One should always chant and hear about the extraordinarily wonderful activities of the Lord. One should meditate upon these activities, and one should endeavor to please the Lord. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.3.27. Sridhar Swami also quotes from the Puranas, Papakshayascha bhavati smaratam tam aharnisham. One can become free from all sinful reactions simply by remembering the lotus feet of the Lord day and night, aharnisham. Furthermore, he quotes from Bhagavatam 6.3.31, Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnur Jagan Mangalam Anhasam Mahattam Apikoravya Vidaikantika Nishkritam. All these quotations prove that one who constantly engages in chanting and hearing of the holy activities, name, fame, and form of the Lord is liberated. As stated wonderfully in this verse, Etavatalam aga nirharanaya pungsam. Simply by uttering the name of the Lord, one is freed from all reactions, from all sinful reactions. The word alam, which is used in this verse, indicates that simply uttering the holy name of the Lord is sufficient. This word is used with different imports. As stated in the Amar Kosha, the most authorized dictionary in the Sanskrit language, alam bhushana paryapti shakti varana vachakam. The word alam is used to mean ornament, sufficiency, power, and restraint. Here, the word alam is used to indicate that there is no need of any other process, for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is sufficient. Even if one chants imperfectly, one becomes free from all sinful reactions by chanting. The power of chanting the holy name was proved by the liberation of Ajamil. When Ajamil chanted the holy name of Narayan, he did not precisely remember the Supreme Lord. Instead, he remembered his own son. At the time of death, Ajamil certainly was not very clean. Indeed, he was famous as a great sinner. Furthermore, one's physiological condition is completely disturbed at the time of death, and in such an awkward condition, it would certainly have been very difficult for Ajamil to have chanted clearly. Nevertheless, Ajamil achieved liberation simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, what is to be said of those who are not sinful like Ajamil? It is to be concluded that with a strong vow, one should chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For thus one will certainly be delivered from the clutches of Maya by the grace of Krishna. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is recommended even for persons who commit offenses, because if they continue chanting, they will gradually chant offenselessly. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra without offenses, one increases his love for Krishna. As stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prema Pumartha Mahan, one's main concern should be to increase one's attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and increase one's love for Him. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11:19-24. Evam dharmar manushyanam udvatmani vedinam mai sanjayate bhakti kunyortor syavashishyate. My dear Uddhav, the supreme religious system for human society is that by which one can awaken his dormant love for me. Commenting on this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the word bhakti by saying, Premai Vokta. Ka anya artha asya. In the presence of bhakti, what is the necessity of liberation? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also quotes this verse from the Padma Purana. Namaparada yuktanam namanyeva harantyagam vishranti prayuktani tanyevarta karanicha. Even if in the beginning one chants the Hare Krishna mantra with offenses, one will become free from such offenses by chanting again and again. Papakshayas cha bhavati smarantam tam aharnisham. One becomes free from all sinful reactions if one chants day and night, following the recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who quoted the following verse, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva gatiranyata. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. If the members of the Krishna consciousness movement strictly follow this recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their position will always be secure. Second. Yeah, these are all really good purports, aren't they? Is this the same alam as in alambana? I don't know. Prayena veda tadidam namaha janoyam devya vimohitamatir batamayayalam trayam jadi kritamatir madhupushpitayam vaitanike mahati karmani yujamana. Because they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yajnavalkya and Jaimini and other compilers of the religious scriptures cannot know the secret, confidential religious system of the 12 Mahajans. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service or chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Because their minds are attracted to the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, especially the Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Rigveda, their intelligence has become dull. Thus, they are busy collecting the ingredients for ritualistic ceremonies that yield only temporary benefits, such as elevation to Swargaloka for material happiness. They are not attracted to the Sankirtan movement. Instead, they are interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Purport. Since one may easily achieve the highest success by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one may ask why there are so many Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, and why people are attracted to them. This verse answers that question. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Vedaishcha sarvar aham eva vedya. The real purpose of studying the Vedas is to approach the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Unfortunately, unintelligent people bewildered by the grandeur of Vedic yajnas want to see gorgeous sacrifices performed. They want Vedic mantras chanted and huge amounts of money spent for such ceremonies. Sometimes we have to observe the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies to please such unintelligent men. Recently, when we established a large Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, we were obliged to have Vedic ceremonies enacted by Brahmins because the inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially the Smarta Brahmins, would not accept Europeans and Americans as bona fide Brahmins. Thus, we had to engage Brahmins to perform costly yajnas. In spite of these yajnas, the members of our society performed Sankirtan loudly with mridangas, and I considered the Sankirtan more important than the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Both the ceremonies and the Sankirtan were going on simultaneously. The ceremonies were meant for persons interested in Vedic rituals for elevation to heavenly planets, Jari Krita Matir Madhu Pushpitayam, whereas the Sankirtan was meant for pure devotees interested in pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We would simply have performed Sankirtan, but then the inhabitants of Vrindavan would not have taken the installation ceremony seriously. As explained here, the Vedic performances are meant for those whose intelligence has been dulled by the flowery language of the Vedas, which describe fruitive activities intended to elevate one to the higher planets. Ooh, I love this purport. I think I'm going to share this on Facebook. Okay. Especially in this age of Kali, Sankirtan alone is sufficient. If the members of our temples in the different worlds simply continue Sankirtan before the deity, especially before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will become perfect. There is no need of any other performances. Nevertheless, to keep oneself clean in habits and minds, deity worship and other regulative principles are required. Srila Jiva Goswami says that although Sankirtan is sufficient for the perfection of life, the Archana, or worship of the deity in the temple, must continue in order that the devotees may stay clean and pure. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore recommended that one follow both processes simultaneously. We strictly follow his principle of performing deity worship and Sankirtan along parallel lines. This we should continue. Wow, that was an awesome purport. I'm going to save this. This is... 1 second. Okay. Hey. Okay. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. What is it? 6:3:25 purport. Okay. Okay, there. Evam Evam Brahmirsha Sudhiyo Bhagavatanante Sarvatmanam Vidadate Kalubhava Yogam Tamena Dandam Arhantyata Yadya. Oh God, I messed up. Temena Dandam Arhantyata Yadya Misham. What? Anyways, Syat Patakam Tarapi Hantyur Yurugaya Vada. Tamena Dandam. Oh, did I not say na? Tamena Dandam Arhantyata Yadya. Oh, no, I did it right. Anyways, seems to be a syllable missing. Considering all these points, therefore, intelligent men decide to solve all problems by adopting the devotional service of chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart and who is a mine of all auspicious qualities. Such persons are not within my jurisdiction for punishment. Generally, they never commit sinful activities, but even if by mistake or because of bewilderment or illusion, they sometimes commit sinful activities, they are protected from sinful reactions because they always chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Purport. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following verse from the prayers of Lord Brahma, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:14-29. Atapi te deva padam pujadvaya prasada leshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko pichirang vichinvan. The purport is that even though one is a very learned scholar of the Vedic Shastras, he may be completely unaware of the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his name, fame, qualities, and so forth. Whereas one who is not a great scholar can understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he somehow or other becomes a pure devotee of the Lord by engaging in devotional service. Therefore, this verse spoken by Yamarāja says, Evam Virmishya Sudhiyo Bhagavati. Those who engage in the loving service of the Lord become Sudhiya, intelligent. But this is not so of a Vedic scholar who does not understand Krishna's name, fame, and qualities. A pure devotee is one whose intelligence is clear. He is truly thoughtful because he engages in the service of the Lord, not as a matter of show, but with love, with his mind, words, and body. Non-devotees may make a show of religion, but it is not very effective because although they ostentatiously attend a temple or church, they are thinking of something else. Such persons are neglecting their religious duty and are punishable by Yamarāja. But a devotee who commits sinful acts, which he may do unwillingly or accidentally because of his former habits, is excused. That is the value of the Sankirtan movement. Te deva siddha parigita pavitra gata ye sadhava samadrisho bhagavat prapanna Tanno pasidata harer gadaya bhiguptam naisham vayam nachavaya prabhavam adande. My dear servants, please do not approach such devotees, for they have fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods and the inhabitants of Siddhaloka. Please do not even go near them. They are always protected by the club of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore Lord Brahma and I, and even the time factor, are not competent to chastise them. Purport. In effect, Yamarāja warned his servants, my dear servants, despite what you may have done previously to disturb the devotees, henceforward you should stop. The actions of devotees who have surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and who constantly chant the holy name of the Lord, are praised by the demigods and the residents of Siddhaloka. Those devotees are so respectable and exalted that Lord Vishnu personally protects them with a club in his hand. Therefore, regardless of what you have done this time, henceforward you should not approach such devotees, otherwise you will be killed by the club of Lord Vishnu. This is my warning. Lord Vishnu has a club and chakra to punish non-devotees. Do not risk punishment by attempting to disturb the devotees. Not to speak of you, if even Lord Brahma or I were to punish them, Lord Vishnu would punish us. Therefore, do not punish the devotees any further. Tan anayadvam asato vimukhan mukunda padaravinda makaranda rasar ajasram nishkinchanai paramahamsa kular asangar jushtad grihe niraya vartmani pattadrishnan. Paramahamsas are exalted persons who have no taste for material enjoyment and who drink the honey of the Lord's lotus feet. My dear servants, bring to me for punishment only persons who are averse to the taste of that honey, who do not associate with Paramahamsas and who are attached to family life and worldly enjoyment, which form the path to hell. Purport. After warning the Yamadutas not to approach the devotees, Yamarāja now indicates who is to be brought before him. He specifically advises the Yamadutas to bring him the materialistic persons who are attached to household life merely for sex. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Yanmaitunadi grihamedi sukam hitucham. That's from Canto 7, Chapter 9, verse 45. People are attached to household life for sex only. They are always harassed in many ways by their material engagements, and their only happiness is that after working very hard all day, at night they sleep and indulge in sex. Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavayena chavavaya. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 2:1-3. At night, materialistic householders sleep or indulge in sex life. Diva chartehaya rajan kutumba bharanenava. During the day, they are busy trying to find out where money is, and if they get some money, they spend it to maintain their families. Yamarāja specifically advises his servants to bring these persons to him for punishment, and not to bring the devotees, who always lick the honey at the lotus feet of the Lord, who are equal to everyone, and who try to preach Krishna consciousness because of sympathy for all living entities. Devotees are not liable to punishment by Yamarāja, but persons who have no information of Krishna consciousness cannot be protected by the material life of so-called family enjoyment. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 2:1-4 says, Dehapatya kalatradishvatma sainyeshvasat asatsvapi tesham pramatta nidhanam pashyannapi napashyati. Such persons complacently believe that their nations, communities, or families can protect them, unaware that all such fallible soldiers will be destroyed in due course of time. In conclusion, one should try to associate with persons who engage in devotional service 24 hours a day. Jivana bhakti bhagavar guna namadheyam chetascha na smarati tat charanaravindam Krishnaya no namati yachira ekadapi tan anayadvamasato krita vishnu krityan. My dear servants, please bring to me only those sinful persons who do not use their tongues to chant the holy name and qualities of Krishna, whose hearts do not remember the lotus feet of Krishna even once, and whose heads do not bow down even once before Lord Krishna. Send me those who do not perform their duties towards Vishnu, which are the only duties in human life. Please bring me all such fools and rascals. Purport. The word Vishnu Kritam is very important in this verse because the purpose of human life is to please Lord Vishnu. Varnashram dharma is also meant for that purpose, as stated in the Vishnu Puran 3.8.9. Varnashrama charavata purushena parapuman Vishnur aradhate panta nanya tat toshakaranam. Human society is meant to follow strictly the Varnashram dharma, which divides society into 4 social divisions, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and 4 spiritual divisions, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Varnashram dharma easily brings one near to Lord Vishnu, who is the only true objective in human society. Nate vidu svarta gatim hi Vishnum. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 7.5.31. Unfortunately, however, people do not know that their self-interest is to return home back to Godhead, or to approach Lord Vishnu. Turashaya ye bahir artha manina. Instead, they are simply bewildered. Every human being is expected to perform duties meant for approaching Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Yamarāja advises the Yamadutas to bring him those persons who have forgotten their duties towards Vishnu, akrita Vishnu krityan. One who does not chant the holy name of Vishnu, Krishna, who does not bow down to the deity of Vishnu, and who does not remember the lotus feet of Vishnu, is punishable by Yamarāja. In summary, all of Vaishnavas, persons unconcerned with the Lord Vishnu, are punishable by Yamarāja. Takshamyatam sa Bhagavan Purusha Purano Narayana sa Purushar Yarasat Kritangna Swanam Aho Navidusham Rachitanjalinam Kshantir Gari Yasinama Purushaya Bhumne. Then Yamarāja, considering himself and his servants to be offenders, spoke as follows, begging pardon from the Lord. O my Lord, my servants have surely committed a great offense by arresting a Vaishnava such as Ajamil. O Narayan, O supreme and oldest person, please forgive us. Because of our ignorance, we failed to recognize Ajamil as the servant of your lordship, and thus we have certainly committed a great offense. Therefore, with folded hands, we beg your pardon. My Lord, since you are supremely merciful and are always full of good qualities, please pardon us. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Lord Yamarāja took upon himself the responsibility for the offense committed by his servants. If the servant of an establishment makes a mistake, the establishment takes responsibility for it. Although Yamarāja is above offenses, his servants, practically with his permission, went to arrest Ajamil, which was a great offense. The Nyaya Shastra confirms, Britya paradhe swamino danda. If a servant makes a mistake, the master is punishable because he is responsible for the offense. Taking this seriously, Yamarāja, along with his servants, prayed with folded hands to be excused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Just curious how many verses there are in this chapter. 35. Okay. Tasmat sankirtanam Vishnu jagan mangalama anghasam mahatam apikoravya vidyaikantika nishkritam. Śukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtan movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously. Purport. We should note that although Ajamil chanted the name of Narayan imperfectly, he was delivered from all sinful reactions. The chanting of the holy name is so auspicious that it can free everyone from the reactions of sinful activities. One should not conclude that one may continue to sin with the intention of chanting Hare Krishna to neutralize the reactions. Rather, one should be very careful to be free of all sins and never think of counteracting sinful activities by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, for this is another offense. If by chance a devotee accidentally performs some sinful activity, the Lord will excuse him, but one should not intentionally perform sinful acts. Shinvatam grinnatam viryan yuddhamani harer moho yata sujataya bhaktya shuddhenatma vratadibhi. One who constantly hears and chants the holy name of the Lord and hears and chants about his activities can very easily attain the platform of devotional service, which can cleanse the dirt from one's heart. One cannot achieve such perfection merely by observing vows and performing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Purport. One may very easily practice chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord and thus become ecstatic in spiritual life. Padma Puran states, Namaparadayuktanam namanyeva harantyagam avishanti prayuktani tanyevarta karani cha. Even if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offensively, one can avoid offenses by continuously chanting without deviation. One who becomes accustomed to this practice will always remain in a pure transcendental position, untouchable by sinful reactions. Śukadeva Goswami especially requested King Parikshit to note this fact very carefully. There is no profit, however, in executing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. By performing such activities, one may go to the higher planetary systems, but as stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.21, Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. When the period of one's enjoyment in the heavenly planets is terminated because of the limited extent of the results of one's pious activities, one must return to earth. Thus, there is no use in endeavoring to travel up and down in the universe. It is better to chant the holy name of the Lord so that one may become fully purified and eligible to return home back to Godhead. That is the aim of life, and that is the perfection of life. Krishnangri parmamadulingna punar vishishta Maya guneshu ramate vrajina vaheshu Anyastu kama hataka atma raja pramarshtum Iheta karma yata eva raja punasyat. Devotees who always lick the honey from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna do not care at all for material activities, which are performed under the three modes of material nature and which bring only misery. Indeed, devotees never give up the lotus feet of Krishna to return to materialistic activities. Others, however, who are addicted to Vedic rituals because they have neglected the service of the Lord's lotus feet and are enchanted by lusty desires, sometimes perform acts of atonement. Nevertheless, being incompletely purified, they return to sinful activities again and again. Purport. A devotee's duty is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. If one sometimes chants with offenses and sometimes without offenses, one may chant sometimes with offenses and sometimes without offenses. But if one seriously adopts this process, he will achieve perfection, which cannot be achieved through Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of atonement. Persons who are attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies but do not believe in devotional service, who advise atonement but do not appreciate the chanting of the Lord's holy name, fail to achieve the highest perfection. Devotees, therefore, being completely detached from material enjoyment, never give up Krishna consciousness for Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Those who are attached to Vedic ritualistic ceremonies because of lusty desires are subjugated to the tribulations of material existence again and again. Maharaj Pariksha has compared their activities to Kunjara Shocha, the bathing of an elephant. Itam sabhartrigaditam bhagavan mahitvam samsmritya vismita dhiyo yamakinkaraste naivachutashaya janam pratishankamana drashtum cha bibhyati tata prabhriti smarajan. After hearing from the mouth of their master about the extraordinary glories of the Lord and his name, fame, and attributes, the Yamadutas were struck with wonder. Since then, as soon as they see a devotee, they fear him and dare not look at him again. Purport. Since this incident, the Yamadutas have given up the dangerous behavior of approaching devotees. For the Yamadutas, a devotee is dangerous. Iti hasam imam guhyam bhagavan kumbhasam bhava katayam asamalaya asino harimarchayan. When the great sage Agastya, the son of Kumbha, was residing in the Malaya hills and worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I approached him, and he explained to me this confidential history. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 6th canto, 3rd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Yamarāja Instructs His Messengers. Oh, it was a really nice reading. I really liked that second half of this 3rd chapter. Yeah. All right. So, right now it's 7:51. Ooh, we can end early today. That's good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Oh wow, my tongue is going flat. Okay. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Mahabhagavat Srila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Srila Satchitaranda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath Shara Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Bharati Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams. Yamarāja Ki Jai. Vishnu Dutas Ki Jai. Shri Lord Narayan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Ajamil Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Ki Jai. All right, thank you for reading with me today. And oh, you might notice behind me there's this board right there. And for months now, I've been wanting to sleep earlier, but it's just been impossible for me. Like I can do anything else but sleep early. For some reason, it's like the most difficult thing for me to do, to just like wind down and just get into bed. And so this month I'm trying something out. If you want to try it, you can try it also with me. But I tried making it, because I tried different things to try to get myself to go to sleep and nothing worked, but I think this system might work. So what I did, you see behind me, it says 10, 10:30, 11. So if I manage to wind everything up and get into bed at 10 o'clock, then I get 3 points. If I get into bed at 10:30, then I get 2 points. And if I get into bed at 11, then I get 1 point. And And so each point, I gave it a certain amount of, so if I get 21 points, then I get like $2.50, which is around which is 200 rupees. And if I go to sleep at 10:30, if I get 12 points, then I get half that. And if I get only 7 points, then I get half that. So, then I get just, I don't know how many cents that is. It's less than $1 though. A lot less than $1. Like 75 cents or something, 70 cents. So then that money I can use towards getting a Kindle book. And so, that's my system I'm trying out. Oh, but if I go to sleep after 11:10, then I lose my points. Or maybe I'll just lose 6 points. I have to still decide that on that one. But I think that might motivate me enough to go to sleep. Because I did it last night. I went to sleep at 10 o'clock, and I woke up at Mangalarti time feeling great. I had a very productive morning, and Anyhow. But now I have to stay extra accountable because you can see this behind my head, and I don't want you to see me fall behind also. All right, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Radhe.